much for taking the time to watch this video. Allow yourself to relax and allow your mind to be still while your vibration rises. The world is putting you in a position to feel your own power. Let's begin with the video.
I mean, if you are not being challenged in some way in your life, you're not alive. There have been plenty of peer-reviewed articles on the power of peace-gathering projects that lower crime, that lower trauma incidences of death and economic growth. It's all related to what's happening right now for us. And it's not enough, though, for us to just focus on peace and expect the world to change, because in the peace-gathering projects, when the event was over, a lot of the crime and violence returned back to its ceiling level again. It's more important for us not only to embody that peace and feel it, but then to demonstrate it. And when we begin to demonstrate it, I think we give people permission to do the same. That means that we can't be preaching peace and then be stuck in traffic and, flipping people off or arguing with your coworker. You don't get to stand up for peace if you have conflict in your life. So when we start that self-contemplative process of looking within, and instead of judging someone or something, look to see if there's an aspect of ourselves within that person or within that situation that we may need to change. And if we're all doing that at the same time, something greater, a greater consciousness is going to emerge. And so I believe that it should never be about a person. It should be about principles. And when we stand up for principles, that creates community. Because you could be one belief or another belief, but if you're sharing the same principles, which are joy and freedom and cooperation and connection, that's what builds communities. So then, everything in our world right now is reminding us of separation. Whether it's war, whether it's violence, whether it's political deceit, whether it's prejudice, all of those things cause us to live by those stress hormones. And when we're living in that state of survival, we're not trusting, and we become more selfish. So then, starting our day asking ourselves, what would be the greatest expression of myself I'd like to present to the world? And then making the choice to not get up until we are that person, I think that begins to demonstrate greatness. And when there is adversity and when there are challenges in our life, the question, of course, becomes, how do we become supernatural? And that means we're going to have to do what feels unnatural at first. When everybody else is in poverty and lack, that's the time to give. When everybody else is in fear and vigilance, that's the time to show courage. When people are angry and hating and prejudiced, that's the time to show compassion. When people are competing to rush to get to the top, that's the time to change your energy and draw the experience to you. And if you keep doing what's unnatural over and over again, sooner or later, you're going to become supernatural. And then what happens is that we have neurons in our brain called mirror neurons, and those are empathy neurons. And when you fed your kid as a child, you went like this. You don't know why you were doing that, but you were unconsciously or subconsciously asking them to mimic your behavior. And they look at you and they follow your actions. And so when you all of a sudden demonstrate greatness in your life, and I don't care if it's just letting somebody ahead of you in traffic or helping someone up or picking up a piece of litter or garbage, and people witness that, they're more prone to do the same. And so we begin to change the world, I believe, by changing ourselves. If you get up feeling the same way as you sat down, nothing really happened. Nothing happened neurologically, biologically, chemically, hormonally, genetically. You're still in the same state of being. But when you get up and you feel like an elevated sense of self, and your heart is swollen, and you have a clear vision of your future, and your energy's different, the question is, how long can you maintain that state? So, you're literally broadcasting a whole new electromagnetic signature in that state. Thoughts tend to be electric and feelings tend to be magnetic. And the way we think and feel is what we broadcast into the field. And what we broadcast into the field is our experiment with destiny. So then when you go within and you disconnect from your outer world and you sit your body down and it's no longer experiencing anything and you're not thinking about your schedule, your past, or your future, as I said today, you're being defined by thought and you're making your inner world more real than your outer world. When you open your eyes and you present yourself to the world, the job then is to not react emotionally to the same conditions in your life, because the moment you react emotionally, you're equal to the conditions in your life and you're back in your past. So then when you fall from grace and you move off that state, then you sit down and you realign. You begin to tune in again and you change your energy again. In the evening, I always ask myself, how did I do? How was one lifetime in one day? Where did I fall from grace? What happened? And so then when I look at seeing how I reacted to someone or something, or I made the choice that I could have made a better choice, I naturally, and we all do this, begin to think, well, if the same situation happened again, how would I do it differently? And that's the act of beginning to come up with a new plan. The act of rehearsing it in your mind begins to install the circuits in your brain, priming your brain so that when the next experience happens, you could modify your behaviors to do a better job in life. That's called plasticity. So it doesn't matter for me what meditation I do any longer. I like to just get up in a new state of being. And so if you're doing the blessing of the energy centers in the morning, you're aligning your autonomic nervous system. You are literally, each energy center is tuning into a different frequency. They all have their own frequency, their own energy. And as you do this properly, and you're doing some of the more advanced blessing of the energy centers, you are actually drawing information from the field into your body. And if all disease is a lowering of frequency, when you begin to pull that energy into your body consciously, you're going to raise its frequency. So that's a great thing to do. If you're doing a meditation in the evening, of course, pick a meditation that changes your energy. But then, the idea is not just to meditate so that you can keep meditating. Your job is to actually see what the effects you've produced in your life as a result of it. I mean, why else would we do this? So then, if you decide, okay, if I'm taking time out of my busy life to emulate the divine, a creator, then if I'm going to create something unlimited, I better feel unlimited. If I'm going to do something magnificent, I have to become magnificent. And if you keep doing that over and over again, it will begin to become more readily available to you. It'll get easier. So then, to not be seduced by the external environment and not fall from grace and be able to execute and maneuver in your life from a different energy and lead with your heart and begin to make different choices and not return back to those old states, that's why we do it. Because we want that new energy to become constant in our lives. And so when we're in that energy all the time, that's when the synchronicities and the serendipities and all those wonderful coincidences begin to happen. And it's those coincidences that are feedback in our environment where the field begins to open doors for us.
We hope you enjoy our videos, which are more than just educational. They are also changing people's lives. So, by sharing our videos, you are also helping to change lives. Thank you.